So if we're trying to put strategic workforce planning and economics together, where do we start? So first of all, I think there is a really important set of work that needs to be done to reduce that workforce gap that I talked about, is bringing those demand and supply curves together in the way I described. So it's thinking about assessing the workforce implications of business as usual and the key challenges and opportunities that that gives rise to in the short and the medium and the long term. And then in terms of economic priorities, really prioritizing early action on system-wide workforce initiatives for addressing the things that the employers within the system are facing around recruitment, retention, well-being, and particularly in the areas facing the greatest challenge and where system responses are really needed. So, this is about, yes, all responsibility for employment sits with local NHS trusts and primary care and community trusts and so forth. But as a system, what can you do to really address some of those issues? And then develop and implement strategies for system-wide workforce initiatives that will be needed going forward. And I've seen some really good examples of ICBs setting up academies, faculties, to try and really look at all the opportunities that are out there now with things like apprenticeships and I mentioned advanced practice earlier on, extended roles for things like pharmacy. So this is what that column is all about, reducing that workforce gap. But then there's another piece to do, which is about reducing the funding gap, again, while protecting or improving, if God willing, quality and outcomes. Let's look at the workforce implications of the strategic initiatives that are designed to reduce the funding gap. And I don't see that happening very much. I don't see that connection being made. And this is all about thinking about what can we do at a system level in terms of investing in actions to support reducing that funding gap, which then have a workforce implication, and prioritize those system level actions to support workforce enablement for those initiatives that have the largest impact. So, for example, if you're looking at, I'm going to use a phrase I loathe, but if you're looking at initiatives which are about the shift to the left, which is about developing services outside hospital, make sure that that links through then to your plans for things like advanced practices, the R's roles, all of those kinds of new ways, workforce transformation priorities that would help those strategic initiatives that reduce the funding gap really take off. So that was my starting provocation.